very good evening to our viewers. Welcome to the Evening Review Show. I'm your host, Matthias Haufiko. Well, the National Unity Democratic Organization, Nudo, is preparing to have its electoral college this weekend, where the party's list for next year's representatives to parliament will be elected. We have in studio for that tonight the party Secretary General, Honorable Josef Kauandenge. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening and welcome to the viewers outside there.
Thank you very much. Well, it's been quite a tumultuous few months for the party. A lot of friction, a lot of factional battles. Well, you find yourself at this point now where you are about to have one of the biggest conventions of the party, where members for parliament will be elected. How's the process going? One wonders what's happening in the background. We got used to reading about fights and so on within the party. How is the situation?
Well, politics these days are, getting interesting from all corners. It's not only Nudo the way you will see these quabbles for positions. It's all over. But of course, speaking on behalf of Nudo, we are still there. The infights are still there within the party. But somehow I think it has subsided. It is not as it was. I don't know the contributing factors why. But of course, we are still navigating as the party leaderships to see what is it that we should do, because remind you, we are only 2 months now before the elections. And we see all these other parties now campaigning, and you haven't seen Nudo that much on the campaign trail. So we are putting all the mechanism in place so that at least after Saturday, when our parliamentary list is now compiled by the electoral college, as of Monday, we start full force outside there to campaign for the party. But so far, relatively, things are a little bit quiet within the party. We are trying to see how and how.
Some might be asking that just less than 2 months before elections, the party has not started campaigning. Is it not too late? How are you gonna catch up?
No, at least for parties like Nudo, you have loyalists to the party. Those voters that, irrespective of whether you put whoever on top there, as long as they can see this is Nudo, they will definitely go and vote. So on that part, we are secured that the loyalists, the backbone of the party, in the constituencies that we are leading today, they will go in full force to vote for the party. What we have to do now for the 2 remaining months is to try to see how we can supplement these votes in terms of the youth vote, the younger people, sympathizers and whatnot. And I think, yes, it's relatively late, but if we put the machinery in place, I'm sure we will be able to navigate and really get as much voters as possible to Nudo in the 2 remaining months.
And we do know that your July Congress that couldn't take place was supposed to be succeeded by another one, but the party opted not to have it this year, only next year due to financial constraints. Campaigns are also not a cheap process. Where's this money going to come from if you can't even have your Congress?
Well, we are what? We are surviving as dinosaurs. This party. The members, especially when we start now actually campaigning, we have this culture within Nudo where every member really contribute meaningfully to the campaign in whatever way, fashion and manner. And of course, comparing with the Congress expenses, and as you are saying, the campaign is also not that cheap, but we are confident enough that we will get the resources, one way or the other, in order for us to campaign vigorously throughout the country.
You mentioned earlier on that you are confident that the loyalists will continue to put the cross at the right spot at the ballot as far as Nudo is concerned. But also there might be those who feel that after everything that's been happening in the party right now, is it perhaps time to reconsider? How do you convince those party members that Nudo is still the party of choice for them?
Well, it will be very difficult. It's not going to be easy to convince some of them to actually vote for the party. But my contention at the end of the day is that even if I don't agree with the current leadership, even if I don't like what they are doing in my own view, if I punish the party and I don't vote for the party, right? The party does not go to parliament. Next year, I want whoever I suppose now to come and take over the leadership of the party. Now, will this person that will come and take over the leadership of the party come and take over a party that is not represented in parliament, that does not get money from parliament in order to run the affairs of the party? So my contention has always been that, listen, colleagues, members and whatever, we might have our own differences inside, right? But the institution called Nudo should survive and evolve. Yeah. Let's put our differences aside. Let's vote for the party. Let's make sure that the party gets its seats in parliament. And next year, when we come to the congresses, we can then decide to say, thank you, leadership, whatever you can call us, interim, whatever, take or whatever. But now we are bringing these people at least to come take over the party. But the party by that time is intact. It's there, it's represented, it's got its 2 or 3 or 4 seats in parliament, as to oppose to say, because my leader is not there, then the party must suffer. You will take another 5 years to rebuild that party until the next election for the party to come back where it is right now.
Yeah. I know during one of our previous interviews, we spoke about the influence of the traditional authority in Nudo affairs. And we know that during these factional battles, there were some traditional leaders who were on the faction that didn't want the current leadership. Those people have followers in their communities who really look up to them and live according to their doctrines. So as much as you're saying they are loyalists to the parties, there is this situation that wasn't there in the past. How do you balance it?
Well, as I have said, it's not going to be a walk in a park as far as the leadership is concerned, but we should put mechanisms and strategies in place in order to convince our comrades that still Nudo is the right choice to put your cross. And as you are saying, this traditional chief has influences in some of those areas. And it will be amiss and from us as party leadership to think that if we had 100% loyalist, that all 100% will come and vote for the party. We must also be realistic to say maybe a 10% or 20% will still say, we are not going to vote for Nudo. But if that should be the case, then we must work very hard in order to convince those others that see that Nudo can still contribute meaningfully to the development of the country and the political setup of the country, to convince them to vote for the party, at least to close that gap. But as you are saying, it's not going to be very easy in some areas, in some constituencies, in some reservate, as you say, because you had a group still that is opposed, vehemently opposed to the current leadership. But we must just try to see how are we going to go about it to convince our people that, man, for now, let's save the party, let's bring the food on the table, and then later on, then we can start now saying who must get the bigger portion or not. Yes.
So, since the battles have sort of calmed down, at least in the public eye, we don't know what's happening in the background. What is it that you and your current interim leadership, what is it you are doing to sort of try and bring harmony between those who are fighting against each other for power in the party? What is being done in that regard?
Well, for starters, we don't refer to ourselves as interim leadership. We are still the legitimate leadership of the party, because in the legal fraternity, we had a word that says status ante. Status ante actually meaning that if the Congress does not take place, there cannot be any leadership vacuum. As some people were interpreted to say, if the Congress does not take place, then you cease to exist. There is nothing like that in law. If the Congress does not take place for whatever reason that might be, the current leadership that is there will still and must still continue to lead the party until the next Congress comes. So for us, as the current leadership under Dr. Ushua Muinyango, we consider ourselves as the legitimate leadership. Our colleagues, those that are fighting us, have tried everything within their powers. They went to the Electoral Commission, they went to the banks, they went to the Ministry of Finance, they went all over to try to wrestle power from us. But they were told one thing and on one thing only, and that is that so long as you don't have a court order that will say this leadership is null and void and they don't exist, we cannot deal with you, unfortunately. And there is also these things that even if you go to the court of law, judges always say, when you come before this court, your hands you must not carry blood on your hands. What they mean is that if you say the Kauandenge or Ushua leadership has done A, B, C, D wrong, you must also not come to the court having done also certain things that are wrong.
Yeah.
So you must come as a clean person to say, no, I'm within the parameters of the law. The other people are the ones that are outside that parameters. But you do all these other things. You call a congress, you elect yourself, now you claim you are the rightful leadership, the others are not. So those things does not really work in the law. But to your question as to what is we are doing, it is very difficult to talk to people that have made up their mind to say they want leadership at all cost. That they want to have a coup d'etat at all cost. So it's very difficult to engage such people.
Yeah.
Because one thing that is in their mind is that they want to take over the leadership, period. Whether it's through hook and crook or whatever measure or mechanism, they just want to take leadership. So to engage them, it becomes difficult. So we are seeing them. We have no quarrel with them. They are still members of the party. But we are saying, as the rightful leadership, let's do what is now supposed, or what we're supposed to do, to get the party to the ballot box. Let's try to see what we can do to let the masses go outside there and vote for the party. And after the elections next year, whenever, we can sit around the table and see the future. Yes.
Okay. So what you are saying is you don't see any interest from the other party to sort of sit around the table and make amends?
No.
But what have you done to as far as giving them olive branches concerned, for you to see that they don't want?
We have tried. In fact, there is a group of concerned members that came to talk to us as leaders. We said, you are welcome. We open our offices, they came, we sit. We asked them, what do you want to do? No, we want to bring the leadership and this group together to see whether we can find common ground. We say we are open for that. We have no problem. Yeah. But what we have asked them is that, what are the other people saying? Now, you came to the leadership, you expressed desire to want to bring the two parties together, but what are the other people that are claiming leadership saying? No, we did talk to them, but we are not sure whether they are on board or not. Then we say, but why are you here?
Yeah.
At least you must come and say, no, they are willing to talk. We came to you to see whether you are willing. And if all the parties are willing, let's come on the table.
Yeah.
We have no problem to engage with them. But there is this other committee that is between us. Hopefully, perhaps, we might come together before we submit the names to the Electoral Commission to be gazetted, which is on the 16th of October. If by that time we haven't sat around the table, then I think that window will be closed then.
Yeah.
Yes.
But do you think it's all cast in stone, or there's still hope for it?
No, there is still hope. Matthias, just one thing is that you need every vote, right? Even if you have to go outside there campaigning, you will say people must come and join Nudo. But if there are those that you are fighting together and they are willing to say, let's sit around the table, of course you have, as a leader, you must open that and be open to that and engage.
Yeah.
And say, man, okay, we might have done this and this to watch one another, but for the interest of the party, let's come on the table and talk. So that room is still there, and we are really open as a party leadership to engage with them to try to see what is it that we can really agree on in the interest of the party.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Kauandenge, we wait for a short break quickly and we'll be back to continue our conversation. Okay. To our viewers, wait for a short break. Stay tuned. Well, welcome back from that short break. Mr. Kauandenge, just to continue our conversation, of course, post the July Bosch Congress, it didn't take place. There were about 9 members, I believe, who were suspended because of their involvement that led to the Congress not taking place. What is the status of those members? I'm asking this and I want you to have this in the back of your mind. Some of them might have harbored ambitions to contest to be on the party's list this weekend, but now they're suspended. Has anything taken place in form of a disciplinary process? What is the status of all that?
Yeah. No, unfortunately, really, they are still under suspension. Of course, there might be some that, as you are saying, that wanted maybe to come and partake in the electoral college. But according to our constitution, we have 90 days. Within those 90 days, we must bring these people to a disciplinary hearing. So that process is still continuing. They will be charged soon in terms of the charge sheet, and then we take it from there. And unfortunately, they cannot participate in the electoral college. However, when we sent our invitation last month for this electoral college and repeated it again 2 weeks ago, we sent that invitation to everybody, even some that attended this illegal Congress. We took a deliberate decision to say, even though there are some that are members of the CC is sitting on a Friday, the Central Committee, and then the Electoral College is sitting on a Saturday. So, but we took a deliberate decision to say, let's invite them. If they come, they come. If they are invited and they say, no, we are not coming because we have elected our own leadership, well, fine with us. We don't have any problem. But let's invite them all. So we will see whether they will turn up or not. But those that were suspended, unfortunately, they cannot come now.
Yeah. But what do you make of allegations that the current leadership is deliberately using the 90 days as an excuse to sort of have these ones outside? I mean, you could have had it in the first 7 days or 14 days. You don't necessarily have to wait for 90 days.
No.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that's why many companies, in terms of labor disputes, lose cases, right? When you suspend someone, you must charge this person. That person is presumed innocent until found guilty. So there is a process that you have to follow. From the day you suspend that person, you charge him or her, you set up a disciplinary, committee. This person has a right to bring whoever and defend him or herself. Those are processes. And we suspended these people somewhere in middle August, if I'm not mistaken. No, at end of August 30th. So they are only 1 month now, September, that they are being suspended. So we did not suspend them because we want to keep them away. We suspended them because we saw them doing things that are contrary to the party constitutions and the party provisions that they have now. Contrary?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Just to move on to the Electoral College itself, a lot of people would be interested to sort of hear how things will unfold on Saturday. What would the processes be that the party would follow to come up with the list? Will there be voting? Will it be raising of hands? Will President Munyangwe choose the list herself? What will happen on Saturday?
Well, for starters, on Saturday, we will expect delegates from across the country around 215. That is if everybody comes, including some of those that are within the other faction. As I said, we have invited them. If they don't come, all of them, then we will expect around 180, 190 delegates in that electoral college. So what will happen is that's why we have a CC on Friday. Because the Central Committee then have to put procedures in place as to how the process will go in the electoral college. Obviously, electoral college is a body that votes, so there will be definitely voting in terms of who comes first, who comes, what is it? There will be a list of those that want to run, and depending on the votes that you get, if you get the highest, you are number one. If you get the second, you are also number two or whatever. But also, the central committee might say, okay, for the first position on the list, let's reserve that for the president of the party. And let's vote from number two or whatever. So the CC is very important because it's the one that will determine as to how the electoral college will go. But overall, we will vote at the end of the day, whichever way, and it's a secret ballot. And unfortunately, in our constitution, the president does not have power to appoint, unlike in other parties. Yes.
Okay. So you say that there's about 215 delegates that you'll be expecting. And if the others from the so-called other factions don't come, it's around 190. So meaning it's about 25 people who has been singled out not to be in support of the current leadership.
Yes, they have singled out themselves because we invited them. Because we don't want them to run later on and say, no, we were not invited. We just invite them. If they come, they come. We say, okay, if you also want to run, please put your name in the bucket. And let's see, maybe you are lucky, you might come up somewhere there on top on the list.
Okay.
Yes.
So how would it work if who would qualify to contest for the list in this case?
Well, it's all members of the executive committee. It's all members of the National Council, which is our CC. All of them, they are eligible to vote. We have members from the Youth League, the Women's League, the Elders Council. They are free to compete. And also 6 members from each constituency that will be coming to the Electoral College. They are also open. So it's actually open to most of our structures within the party. Yes.
So what type of atmosphere do you expect? I mean, considering the 3 months that the party had, what type of atmosphere do you expect on Saturday?
No, in our meetings on Saturday, especially the Electoral College, I expect a very comradeship atmosphere. Even if everybody comes, these two factions, they meet there, I don't expect anyone that will, say, and what. I expect a camaraderie atmosphere on Saturday for the simple reason that in the Electoral College, you need everybody. Everybody needs the other. So there will not be time to have squabbles there because I need your vote. You need my vote. So I don't expect the Electoral College really to have any animosity there. I will be surprised if that should be the case.
I saw some comments on social media, some people asking, the party didn't have money for a Congress. So where did the money for the Electoral College come from?
Now, unfortunately, people compare apples and bananas, to have an Electoral College, you need around 900, almost a million. That's what we almost spend there. For the Electoral College, you need around 180, 190. So you cannot compare the two, really. Unfortunately. And at the Congress, we had 700 delegates. Here, we are talking about 200. So obviously, you can see that here we can try to see what we can do. And for us as leadership, because Congress did not take place, we could have also taken, not a well-informed decision, but still a decision to say, no, let the status quo continue. Why do we need an Electoral College? We can just submit the current leadership names to the Electoral College because there was no Congress. But we thought, let's do this democratically. Let's call the Electoral College because it's within our constitution. Let's compete fair and square. We'll win fair and square. Let's rally behind those people and let's go to outside and campaign for the party.
Okay. Are you going to be eligible? Are you going to avail yourself to contest for the list?
Man, I did indicate some 3-4 months ago that I am not going to be available. for the list, for the simple reason that I think I have done my part for the party. I'm not this type that clings to power forever. And I know that there are those that really wants to come on the list and go to parliament. I was there for the past 5 years. I think I have done what I could do as a parliamentarian and as an SG of the party. Now I think let me give chance to others as well, for them to come in and represent us in parliament while I do other things in terms of my career in the law fraternity or wherever, still remaining a forceful member of the party, and let me leave it to others. Because I detest this notion that politicians think that you just have to be there forever and die in that seat. And when you see how Fiku is coming, and then you start hating him and even bewitching him or her because you just want to remain there. Nobody must come there. So I have indicated my preferences that I'm not going to stand. There were calls, and there are still calls for me to stand. But really, I think my mind is made up to say, let others come in and also to represent us in parliament.
Josef Kauandenge, thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thank you very much.
And we wish you well for the work this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. To our viewers, that's it from the team. See you again tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a pleasant evening.